Fear grieves Sultan of Sokoto as the US Congress are finally set to review Nigeria unity, and they are saying what the genocidal killings of Christians and the Biafrans in Nigeria is now, they want to make it a global issue. They are saying that they have to sit over this, that this cannot continue, enough is enough. And Sultan of Sokoto is coming out to say that they are ready to put a stop to this so that Nigeria can continue as one nation. What's your take as regards this?
For 65 years, this has been a really still hidden agenda to make Nigeria a core, an extreme Islamic nation. That has been the plan. Unfortunately, this thing has been covered over the years. It was steaming right there on the pipeline without anybody knowing. And even those who are on the know pretended as if they do not know what was going on. But let me just shock you. I remembered when Loluga was about to hand over the documents of amalgamation to his lieutenant, his second in command, Walter J. Hang. He made it very clearly when he was describing different tribes, that made up the northern and southern protectorate. He said something very remarkable. I wouldn't say it's remarkable or dangerous, or trying to point to other ethnic nationalities about the presence of the Fulani Empire, the Fulani Caliphate, the gang up about their identity and their ambition, irrespective that we know that they are actually not indigenous people, But even Lord Lugard, knowing fully well how dangerous these people are, as at that time, they still allow them to infiltrate with their empowerment, bring power to infiltrate the circle. So you can imagine, since 18th century, when the name of Nigeria was proclaimed by non-Nigerians, to the period of amalgamation, where there was no Awolowo, where there was no Azikiwe, where there was no Tafawa Balewa, they just said they amalgamated, northern protectorate and southern protectorate. In that amalgamation, can you tell us who and who that were there? But one thing is that, they got hold of the Fulani, and the Fulani taught them what they called, indirect rule. And they capitalized on that. But when they were leaving, they were able to see, to an extent, maybe their conscience begin to judge them. They now define who the Fulanis are. And I'm going to put that straight to you to get you on note about what the American government had decided now about Nigeria. And what did they talk about? They said the Fulani people in Nigeria, as at that time, this is a handover report of all the ethnic nationalities in Nigeria, are not ambitious. Remember, they are a tribe or a people without ambition. They see something good as bad. That means they are totally immorality. You can see that now. So what would you go to do with somebody that is not ambitious? What would you want to do with somebody who sees good as bad? And that is what is playing out now. You can see what was written by Lord Lugard, the so-called Lord Lugard, when he was handing over.
Are you saying it was intentional?
Of course, that is what it means. So we are seeing this fresh report now from the US Congress about Nigeria, that now that it has been confirmed, the jihadist agenda in Nigeria, and therefore Nigeria genocide, Christian genocide in Nigeria will now be treated as terrorism. Do you know what it means now? That means Nigeria have become the likes of Iran, Afghanistan, Lebanon, Hamas, Palestine, just name them, including Yemen, factored in one. That's what it means now. That the global world now will be seeing Nigeria as a terrorist organization.
But do you not think this is a mere talk? Come from a lot of, because the North and the Fulanis will be saying this. The Americans have said this over and over again. Just like we know what happened during the bomb blast. Do you not think in their mind of mind, they'll be saying that the only thing that Trump can do is to bomb the northern part of Nigeria, just like what he did, in December. Do you not think that's what? Do you not think that's what they will feel that Trump will do again?
But even before Trump came to Sokoto, there was a vote in the Congress and he won. I hope you can remember. Now they are putting everything in legislation. They are making that sure that everything could go through legal process now by passing a bill or promoting a bill that would define the situation in Nigeria that will possibly lead to the amalgamation. What Lugard did, he said, because of these people that are not ambitious, you cannot build a nation with people who has no ambition, who are not desperate for change, who does not add value to humanity. And this has been their character from that moment till now. They have never added any value to the development and existence as a corporate entity called Nigeria. But you can see that everything about them is very destructive. So Lugard was right on that note. Then, given the position of the United States of America now, what they are telling you is that what we are having as organizations in the north within the structure under the umbrella of the Sokoto Caliphate are all elements connected to jihad, to terrorism. They are from the same people too, who have no ambition, whose ambition is to only see something that is good as bad. And see, one of the reasons why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is in prison Sokoto today is not just an ordinary thing. It was a matter of what they want Nigeria to represent. See, how can you define a situation when Nigeria has become an Afghanistan, when Nigeria has become Lebanon, when Nigeria has become Yemen, when Nigeria has become Iran, Iraq, and the rest of them, of hostile nations around the world? That is a threat to civilization. That was what Nigeria has become, and they are pointing fingers to the caliphate, the Sokoto Caliphate, up to this very moment. So, as I'm talking to you now, Nigeria has come under another U.S. act that we do not have a nation. That the existing nation now called Nigeria is an umbrella, is a name given to terrorists.
But the Sultan of Sokoto is saying that what he said, just like I said, he's scared of the division of Nigeria. But now he's coming out to say that that the killing of Christians and the Middle Beltans, the Biafrans, the Ododuwa, that's the Yorubas, will stop now. A lot of people are saying, does the Sultan of Sokoto knows the genesis of the Christians buying in Nigeria? Because since he's come to say, he said this will stop now, since the US Congress and Donald Trump are not happy with the persistent and consistent killing of Nigeria. Do you think that the Sultan of Sokoto, just like the way Trump and the US government bombed Sokoto, do you think that he knows what he's saying?
He does not know what he's saying. Everything, that's what I'm saying. Everything that are coming out of them is being seen as something they made based that they want to disguise one sentiment or the other. They want to pretend as if they are there while they are not there. That statement can never be trusted. Why is it that Sultan of Sokoto is coming? And look at the kind of statement he issued. We will not wipe away Christians in Nigeria. So the agenda has already been to wipe away Christians in Nigeria. That's what it means. And that is why we are seeing consistent killing going on. Even while he was making that statement, people are still dying by being killed by these jihadists almost all over the country as it stands today. But the question is, whether politically or otherwise, the people of the Middle Belt should come to the attention, to the realization that they need to disconnect for as soon as possible, because when you see them trying to manipulate this process gradually and trying to delay put up a certain sentiment somewhere, it means that they are just manipulating the Nigerians' sentiment, waiting the time Donald Trump will leave office, Benjamin Netanyahu will leave office, then there will nobody the global community or world that will be responding or checkmating the excesses of what is happening in Nigeria. That's why they say that are very cunning and patient. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu understood these people front and back, And that was why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not in Sokoto prison because he committed a crime. It is because he exposed what Jonathan said are no-go areas. Today, it has become a go areas. People are now asking questions. And look at the kind of thing Britain said. Okay, it will come to a point where these people cannot continue like this. And that's what they said in 2014. Nigeria is supposed to officially and dramatically, politically, cease to be a nation. 2014. That is the completion of the 100 years of the amalgamation. And at that completion, Nigeria now need to de-amalgamate. So what is stopping Nigeria from doing that? Gowon said he fought the Nigerian Biafra war not because of the agreement at Aburi, where General Akara escorted both of them from where Aburi to the airport, where they boarded. There was no issues. Gowon came back to Nigeria and rejected Aburi and said very clearly that the issue is no longer about Aburi, that everybody who was gathered in Ghana, that the issue now is about crude oil. Now let me tell you the implication. What the implication of this is that very clearly, while the Sultan of Sokoto is smart and is representing the great-grand of the Ottoman Dafodio Empire, that's the lineage. A lot of information has been bequeathed to him, and now they are using the resources from the south, from the Biafra land, to finance terrorism, to engage in their corrupt practices and immorality. You can see that now using the same resources now to carry out a conquest against the south. They are the one controlling the entire vast oil resources in Biafra land, even up to this moment. So you can see that, before you become a governor or anything, you must go to Sokoto and pay homage. People have not asked questions. All those things will have to come to an end now. But what the Biafra said, of course, this is the month of May. May 30 is the Biafran Day, where heroes will be remembered all over the world. And I don't want to take you to the heroic, confrontation, hostility that took place during the Nigeria Biafra War, and how the Biafran commandos defended the Biafran land, till death comes. Of course, we need to remember them because they are the reason everybody is, especially Africa, is still alive. And they said it very clearly that the reason why that they have not fully Islamized Nigeria is because of the Igbo people are everywhere. There are Igbos in the north. There are Igbos everywhere. And that is why it has been very difficult for them to proclaim that Nigeria has become fully under the Islamic law. But as I talk to you now, if you look at the Nigerian constitution, whatever you have there from the beginning to the end, a lot of Nigerians do not know that it is Sharia driven.
Are you saying Nigeria doesn't have?
Nigeria has never had any constitution. There has never been people-oriented constitution. Nigerians have never gathered one day to sit down and said, this is how we want to be governed. It has never happened. So you can see that what the British people handed over to the most powerful tribes to be part of in Nigeria is on people who are not ambitious, who see good as bad. Then how can you coexist with those people? And that is the consequences of years of conspiracy against the Igbo people. That is what is playing out now. Because they have gotten to that point where they have already empowered themselves with the crude oil money, and they are using it to acquire arms, to now carry a level of different kinds and various of conquest agenda, politically and otherwise. So now the United States have seen this in as they say, okay, now we are going to project this, then carry out a thorough investigation to be able to find out whether that the jihads are now domiciled in Nigeria before they take action. Raleigh Moore, United States of America, the congressman. I want to use this opportunity to say a special thank you to Raleigh Moore, Ted Cruz, Mike Arnold, James John, Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the United States of America, and all the people who are in sympathy of the Biafra struggle. The matter still remains unresolved. We cannot cohabit with these people anymore. We cannot cohabit. Anybody that's projecting cohabitation between Christians and Muslims in Nigeria is just digging the grave for Christians. And secondly, what the people of Niger Delta, Middle Belt, who are converging in the United States of America any moment from now, are to let the whole world know about Biafra and the quest for referendum and separation from Nigeria is very clear. Create a safe nation. I repeat, create a safe nation. I repeat, create a safe nation for Christians in Nigeria called Biafra, with Christian values, but seen as a constitutionally secular nation where every religion and tribes will be protected according to United Nations Charter and the law. That is what it means. And that is what is expected. This high-level advancement investigation, according to Mike Arnold, this has been on since 18th century till now. And it is time to break from this caliphate once and for all. The way will be break out from the caliphate trap, ADC to NDC. God bless you.